Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Beast Cops, a Hong Kong crime drama thriller from 1998 that stars Anthony Wong and Michael Wong. It was co-directed by Gordon Chan and Dante. Now, two cops try to take down a ruthless gangster. Anthony Wong plays a practical, somewhat dirty cop who hangs out with triads and just wants to keep the peace on the streets. Just wants to make his life easy. But he gets a new boss in Michael Wong, who is more straight-edged and has a history of taking down corrupt cops. Now, one of Anthony Wong's triad buddies, played by Roy Cheung, skips town, which opens the door to chaos in the underworld because, certain people want to take this opportunity to seize power. Also, we have a girl who Roy Cheung left behind, and she hangs out with both of our protagonists while stuff goes down. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you to pay attention to my genre classification of this film. I mentioned that it's a crime drama thriller, and that's what it is. This is not an action movie. It is not an action movie. I want to emphasize this because while Beast Cops seemed to be a favorite of critics when it came out, the fan reaction has been more mixed over the years, with one of the more common criticisms being that it lacks action. And with a movie by the title Beast Cops, you might expect some action in it, right? So if you decide to watch Beast Cops, do not go into it expecting an action flick. In actuality, most of the runtime consists of a few things. Number one, our protagonists kind of work in the streets and getting to know each other along the way. And two, the triad characters clashing in an escalating fashion. And I enjoyed those aspects of this movie. I mean, sure, the plot does meander around, and you're not really sure where everything is going during much of the runtime. There's also a bit of romance sprinkled in, which, some viewers may have a problem with or find to be, uninteresting. But it's all about the character interaction here, and I think the dramatic aspects actually work very well. Anthony Wong's character basically just wants to putz around. You know what I'm saying? But Michael Wong's character wants to crack down on crime, which provides an interesting dynamic between the two. Both characters are very likable, actually, and we get to spend a lot of time with them, which is important in this case because I did get attached to these characters, and I was concerned for their well-being when danger presents itself. Michael Wong's character is not simply a stuck-up jerk. Like, you might expect him to be like a real stuck-up boss who wants to crack down and is just a jerk to Anthony Wong the whole time, but he isn't. He's actually somewhat reasonable. More reasonable than you might think in his desire to classify things in black and white, a black and white perspective. And to be honest, this is probably the best performance of Michael Wong's entire career. Obviously, a lot of people make fun of this guy's acting ability. He's not an elite actor by any means, but he is legitimately good in Beast Cops. I really think so. And basically everyone is good in this film. Sam Lee has a sizable supporting role. I already mentioned Roy Cheung, who is almost always good when he shows up in movies. And of course, Anthony Wong has a few fantastic moments. I'll just leave it at that. But Beast Cops is not only a drama, okay? There are some good thrills and some violence to enjoy, okay? Even though they're not technically action scenes. They're more like thriller scenes. The crap does not really hit the fan until well into the second half of the film, but it is a compelling conflict that involves multiple characters who have been properly developed and established. The violence itself is kind of old school, with plentiful use of blunt objects and big knives like machetes and stuff like that. Weapons that kind of elevate the grittiness and wince-worthy impact of the thrills, so that's good. And these fights are scrappy and rough around the edges. I mean, guys are falling over each other. They're just, people are just trying to survive these attacks. They're getting blades like chopped on their arms and stuff. It's crazy. It's good stuff. And I like the choice and style of the I guess, attacks. Because the characters, like I said, they're just trying to get out of these scenarios, these life and death scenarios that pop up. The final showdown is a memorable one, I think, and it's sufficiently violent. There is some effective humor peppered in, but it's not like the annoying Hong Kong style. It's actually naturally integrated and does not feel wacky, which I appreciated. But if I were to create like a triple feature with Beast Cops and two other somewhat similar films, I would chuck this in with Bullets Over Summer and Crazy in the City. There's a pretty good chance that if you like one of those movies, that you'll probably like the other two. They all have a foundation in drama and character development, and they also have an edge in terms of their thrills. I do have separate reviews of those other titles on my channel as well. So I definitely recommend Beast Cops if you're in the mood for a plot that kind of meanders a bit. You know what I mean? Don't go in expecting an action flick, but kind of meanders. You kind of get a feel for the characters, and the conflict kind of escalates during the last like half hour. You know what I'm saying? So just go in expecting that, and you might enjoy it as much as most critics, and as much as I do. You know what I mean? This film is available on DVD in the United States. And as always, we'll see you next time.